Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Totem Pole Nation. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. The day after, as you can see, we got the sun rising right behind me and everything. And yeah, huge Super Bowl game last night, and what an amazing game it was. Uh, just from watching, in my view, man, I mean, those offensive lines played freaking amazing, amazing football. The Kansas City Chiefs ran for over 6 yards a click. You know, their offensive line just it was amazing, and that their offensive coordinator. Why is this guy? This guy, he has got to be getting a head coach job. Eric Bieniemy from the University of Colorado. What an amazing game he called. My favorite play of the game was when they lined up. You had two backs in the backfield, the sweep to the left side of the field. Almost hit pay dirt with that. What an unbelievable old school play. I'm sure Vince Lombardi was smiling down as that play happened. But yeah, overall, I think as fans, we just got robbed of one of the biggest football games, the biggest Super Bowl of all time, and you're going to have a very questionable call there at the end. You know, as a guy that just focuses on what's going on inside, just watching the linemen, that was a terrible call. You cannot call that. You know, NFL stands for not for long when you make those kind of calls in the biggest game of the year. And I think as fans, we got robbed of one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. You know, Pat Mahomes played an amazing game. Jalen Hurts, I mean, broke the record for most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. So that was a big deal as well. You know, he did have that one play where that ball slipped out, but the guy played pretty much a flawless game. Nick Bolton, man, what a superstar that guy was. Linebacker, young linebacker out of Missouri, there for Kansas City, had some huge plays there. But overall, it was just unbelievable game. You had huge plays, and I really think when you look at it, you know, we always talk about, you know, the three keys to football. You know, I believe you're going to have to go with not only special teams, offense, and defense, but you're going to have to go with the referees now. You know, when they make calls like that, I mean, it's just you just can't make that call. You know, you can't make that call. I don't know what needs to happen, but it wasn't what happened last night. You know, that completely changed the direction of the game. Had that call not stayed, you know, Kansas City could have either kicked the field goal or even scored a touchdown, but it would have gave the Eagles plenty of time to come back with an answer. And I believe we did. We got robbed of that. Very unfortunate circumstances, but besides that, the game was phenomenal. You know, you saw a lot of superstars, and you know the Chiefs made some huge plays when they needed to. I believe they did win that. They did win the special teams. You know that the big punt return, that was a record breaking punt return. You know, so we did. We got to see some really great things. I remember me and Coach Hutch were talking a few things. I believe Friday about you know, different bets and stuff like that. And one that we had mentioned was the ball hitting the goalpost, and that happened. So if anybody played that bet, you were pretty happy with it. I don't believe we saw a streaker, and you know, both quarterbacks had touchdowns, so they didn't cash in on any of those. As far as my prediction, yeah, I was wrong on that. I predicted a 35-21, and it looked like it could have been that at one time. But the Kansas City Chiefs, man, when they came out in the second half, they were a team possessed. You know, I believe they scored every single possession that they had, and it was a amazing overall football game. But again, I think as fans worldwide, we all feel like we got robbed. We could have got another good 15 10 minutes of football out of that game, you know, and possibly going to overtime. but we were not allowed to see that. So very unfortunate circumstance. But overall, I think it was one of the best Super Bowls. But when it comes down to a call like that, and I, we saw the same thing in the Cincinnati game. That Cincinnati KC game. It came down to a lot of questionable calls. That game to me seemed like there were more bad calls. It seemed like the refs had the flags in their pockets pretty much the whole game until that last drive, and you just can't do that. You just cannot do that. There's got to be some consistency, and it's got to go both ways. If you guys are going to be on the players like you are, you got to be on the referees as well. And people say that those are not full-time referees. NFL, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Pay these guys, make them give them their contracts. They're a huge part of the game and what's going on right now. So I think you gotta make that happen. But yeah, we got a beautiful sunrise here. I know. I'm sure a lot of Eagle fans did not think they would get to see that. You guys got to be feeling terrible. The way that game went for you Eagle fans. All right, hey, there we are. We got the coach. What's going on, Coach? How we doing?
You got me, Coach.
Yeah, we got you live here, bud. How are you today, sir?
Check.
Yeah, you're in, and you're live, bud. Can you hear me? All right. Well, I'm gonna keep on going. But yeah, we're having a little technical difficulty on Coach's side, but yeah, no worries. Good morning to you, Miss Allison. How are you today? I know our guy Sterling was not able to punch his ticket in the state playoffs, but hey, he's a junior and he's got a whole off season to get bigger, faster, stronger, and just to get after it. Yeah, that's my nephew. He wrestles for Dinwiddie High School, and he's in the 132 class, and they had a big meet. Most wrestlers are getting into their the end of their season, so it's big time. And wrestling is a short season, but those guys really get after it, and you don't see the hard work that goes all into the off season that those guys put in. So really proud of them and everything. Coach, I think we got you back. Can you hear me?
You got me, man.
Yeah, I hear you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just having some technical difficulties this morning. I see we got 4 people viewing in. Allison Allen. That's your aunt, isn't it?
No, that's my cousin right there. Yeah.
It's your cousin right on side.
Yes, sir. Yep. That's my cousin Jake that I told you. Jake, me and my brother, that's who my aunt would pick us up every summer. I mean, like as soon as we got out of school, she would come and she'd scoop him up first and then come pick us up, me and my brother, up out of Park Lee. And we would hang out with her all summer. And yeah, man, my cousin Jake, man, he's always been one of my role models as well, man. He was the first guy that I knew that actually had a truck, and he worked really hard for it. And man, it was so funny. We used to cruise around. What's the mall right there off of Chippenham?
It used to be called Cloverleaf.
Cloverleaf Mall, man. We used to ride around Cloverleaf Mall in a truck with the windows down and the heat blasting, and we would be bumping De La Soul. And hey, speaking of De La Soul, rest in peace to Dave from De La Soul.
Yeah, Allison said Cloverleaf.
Yep, Cloverleaf.
He said he's going to wrestle in another league and keep in other tournaments to keep up.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that. They're talking about coming down here in Florida, and what we do here, they wrestle on the beach, man. Yeah, they wrestle on the beach. They put a circle in the sand, and the guys get after it, man. It's pretty good stuff. And that's the thing. Any football players that are not playing football currently, and you're looking for a sport to hop into that will help you transition on both, wrestling is one of the greatest that you could get into, because literally what your job is to take a man down. So you tend to learn how to be a very good tackler. And for offensive linemen, I mean, you couldn't find anything better, And that's the thing. There's different ways of gaining strength. There's strength where you're just in the gym, you're in the weight room, and you're getting after it. But then there's body strength, man. There's wrestling strength. Picking people up, picking actually physically people up is a very difficult thing. So both amazing sports. And yeah, I'll tell you what too, Coach, keep your eye on those wrestlers, man. There might be some guys that are a little lean that you see out there wrestling. They make amazing special teams players. They make amazing defensive backs, safeties, wide receivers. They love the block. They're just team guys, man. When you get a wrestler to transition over to football, they're usually the last guys to quit in anything, man. They just got the right mental attitude, and they're used to not only having the camaraderie with your team, but they also know what it's like to go one-on-one. So they have different mindsets, and they do, man. They're just guys that you can bring on the football team, and that they'll step on and be leaders right away.
Yeah, that's a tough sport. We had our regional championship, and we had a kid. He placed second, another kid win it. So what you think about that football game last night, man?
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, it was one of the greatest games that you could have. But then that call at the end, you just can't call that. You just cannot make that call.
Yeah.
That completely ended the game. It was an amazing game. And to me, it was trash, man. It was trash. It was tragic. I think if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you don't like how it ended. And if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you're probably still sleeping and mad.
Yeah.
If you even went to sleep,
Yeah. So life lessons last night. What life lessons did you take from the game last night?
Yeah, well, when I think of like learning from your losses, one of the things I remember was one of the first things I really remember that I dial into football wise is, there was a Bird football team. I want to think it was the 95 team. It was a team that went undefeated and rolled into the playoffs with a lot of confidence. And they ran into a Lee Davis High School football team. 1993 with a great coach, Mac McConnell there. And they ended up knocking Bird off. Huge upset. They came to Bird and won the football game. And I remember you were pulled up on that team, and that at the end, Greg Worley, who was the captain and just a leader and a guy that we kind of grew up with in from Little League. He was there at Gates, and his dad coached us and all that good stuff. But I remember you telling me that, and I wasn't even in high school at the time, but I remember you telling me that he wrote on the chalkboard, learn from your losses. And that was something that really stuck with me because, it's such a long season. And then when you get, to the playoffs, it's one and done. It doesn't really matter what you did all season. It's what's going on right there in that moment. And that moment, that memory and your story about Greg really sticks with me because he was just such an intelligent guy, such a great football player, and just an even better guy, and his dad just had a huge influence on us, through Little League. And, I told a story before when Greg was playing varsity and doing so well, and his dad, showed up to watch us play at Gates. And I was just like, Mr. Worley, why would you be, what are you doing here? Why, your son plays varsity, your younger son's not playing this season. Why are you watching us? And, he just kind of looked at me and was like, Kyle, why wouldn't I be watching you? You're one of my guys. And it just, it was like a fatherly figure it was just, the best way he could have just gave me a hug saying that, it just made me feel really special, at the time. So.
Now, I'm a big believer in studio lighting. I look so much better with lighting, and I'm in a studio and I got a mic instead of a laptop on a bed. We've done almost 50 episodes of the Championship Football Coaches Clinic in 5 weeks. That's 10 episodes a week. And we've got 3 more workouts this week, and then we go into a 2-week dead period. And I'm going to try to get 50 more done. Kenny Brooks, he has the best view in Florida. Hey, yeah, Kenny, man. Kenny, do you follow me on Facebook? Are you a coach?
Kenny's kind of a coach. Kenny coaches his son.
You know Kenny?
Yeah. Kenny's one of my best friends, man. Great dude. Graduated with me over at Lee Davis High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huge.
Was he the linebacker?
No, I want to link him up with Angry Redskin fan, man. I think those guys could definitely – they could be the tag team champs of Angry Redskin fans.
But did Kenny play football?
He's one of them. He did. He did play some he played on their squad. I believe he played quarterback. He was one of their quarterbacks that they had there. And, you know, they always Coach McConnell, man, he groomed some amazing football players and, you know, definitely – definitely some great quarterbacks there, man. That's a guy I would love for you to get on and talk to, because we kind of came up. I remember as a young guy, you know, it was Joe Elrod that ended up going to University of Richmond. And I believe he had the New York Jets GM.
Joe Douglas.
Joe Douglas was also a product from Lee Davis High School. Am I correct?
Yeah. Chuck Jones.
Loaded, man.
Ivy Hopkins.
Right, man. Yeah, they had a lot of great
isn't there a Lee? There. Isn't there a Lee? Last name Lee, tailback?
Maybe Antoine, maybe?
Antoine Lee.
Antoine
Nick
Lee,
Burney.
Maybe. Nick Burney, man.
Adam Burke.
Yeah, Adam Burke, man. I'll tell you what, man. Did anybody run the ball as much as that guy around that 96 season? And did anybody have a better mustache than that guy back in 96? I mean, he had like a vintage Rick Rude in high school. You know, I mean, he had a thicker mustache than you do right now, Coach. You know?
Oh, I know. I don't even like having facial hair, but it definitely helps take away my double chin. I look a lot better in the studio lighting. I don't even think that the St. Pete Rejuvenate would even think that I needed to lose weight, because I think that this studio lighting does a lot for me. So I'm excited about being back in the studio. I'm gonna do some more in the studio as long as the Wi-Fi works. You know, this is Totem Pole Studio. Cultivate Wellness was who got us these mics and these arms, and they've been so good to us. But talk about the blessings and how much love there was at St. Pete Rejuvenate on Saturday.
Oh, man, it really was. I believe we probably had close to 50 clients come in. It was great opening the doors and everything. You know, it was just a lot of hard work. You know, I remember putting the first nail up, you know, it's just one of those where, you know, you work your tail off for something, and, you know, you start seeing this puzzle. And, you know, when you first get there, it's just throw the puzzle, you know, all over the place. It doesn't ever look like it's going to get to where you want it to be at. But to see everything, you know, kind of fall in line, and just the relationships that we built and the people that came up there, you know, it was great. I had one of my former players, Tyreek Robinson, who I could not be more proud of. This guy, man. This guy, he's destined for greatness. You know, he's a guy that's always going to be, I'm always going to be in his corner. And I remember telling him a long time ago, I was like, you know, Tyreek, I don't have any sons, and one day I'm going to pass. I'm going to need a big sucker to, you know, maybe, you know, carry my casket, you know. And he was like, Coach, man, I got you. You know what I mean? I got you, even if I got to just carry it all by myself. And it was great, because one day, you know, I was like, hey, man, you know, could you use a couple bucks? And he was like, yeah, of course I can always use a couple bucks. I was like, man, if you could help me, clean out the garage, man, that would be, really nice. And we had a jet ski at the time, and we had a trailer. And the next thing I know, man, this guy just got the thing up in the air, one hand in it. And I mean, literally, this is a 2 or 3 man job. And, just the strength of them is just amazing. And, for him to help me out and everything, he's just one of those guys, man. He is. He's like a son, but better because I don't have to feed him. You know what I mean? If I had to feed him.
He was an impressive kid. I call him a kid, but he's not now. He's out of college, but he's legit.
Yeah, he is, man. So it was great to have him there. We had people come in from Tampa, which is across the bridge, so that's about a good 20, 30 minutes away. And then we had people come up from Bradenton, which is, over the Skyway Bridge. So that's another 30 minutes. So to have people come over an hour away, just to support the team, support the staff and everything, it was great. And I think it was a hit. I think we did really good. And it's one of those where, we're kind of in this, just all getting started. So we're probably the worst we're going to be. We're only going to get better from here. And if you're in the St. Pete area, check out St. Pete Rejuvenate, stpeterejuvenate.com. My wife, Anna, and her co-owner, Barbara Madursky, just amazing women that, believe in health is wealth, and, they want to help people. And, they do so much there. They do so much from, facials to, IV hydration to the ketamine infusions. And, I'm currently trying to get certified to help be a life coach, just to add to what they have going on there. It's a very impressive thing. They also they got an amazing lady there that does the Botox and the fillers and stuff like that. So, and right now it's what better time to come in, send your mom there, send your girlfriend, send your wife there, let them get the treatment, save the money on the flowers, the chocolates, the cards, because that stuff really doesn't last, but the memories that they'll have at our clinic, they're going to be everlasting memories. And, not only that, man, you meet genuine people that care about you, and, they'll put your number in their cell phone. You're not just getting great service, you're getting a brand new friend, and somebody that cares about you. So yeah, check us out.
All right. So let's recap last week. What all did we have going on last week?
Oh man, last week was just loaded. I mean,
let's start off with Palmore. You had Palmore on.
We had the cyborg on, and he's kind of having some issues on people wanting to step up and take a shot at him, which I'm not surprised one bit. I mean, you got a 6'4", 255-pound can of whoop ass, and he's pretty much slaughtered 5 guys. He had to fight one guy twice just because he knocked him out so fast the first time. He had a 5-second KO. And, so he got him again, and the guy ran from him pretty well, but, he finally caught up with him. So that was great talking with him. And, our second interview went really well because, we just kind of get inside of, and you get to know him more and realize, like, he's a cyborg in the ring, but outside of the ring, he's a dad. He's a boyfriend. He's a son. He's a man's man. And, he's a man of the people. He's an American. I say he went from an American nightmare to an American dream, because he came up from a very bad background and everything. But, he's driven by demons, if you will. Some of us we're driven by demons that we've had throughout our life. And, I could not be more proud of the guy. You have to channel that energy. You have to channel that energy, whether it's good or it's bad. You got to channel it in a positive way, is what I always say.
Yeah.
I'm just moving around here.
We had Dan Mullins, strength coach from Georgia that was at Cincinnati. We had Tom McDaniels, dad of Josh and Ben McDaniels, NFL coaches. We had Coach Wackenheim. We had Kenny Thompson. Then we had Totem Pole Trivia with Angry Redskins fan and Coach Cyborg. Then we had Chris Beatty. Coach Hines, we have coming up this week. A great coach from California. I think he's got 65,000 Twitter followers. We had the interview with David Alexander. We had Coach Lee Spickerman, the youth football coach here in Richmond. Y'all did the Super Bowl preview. We had Brad Lutz come on and talk about the first annual Gridiron Football Coaching Clinic. We had Kyle Jolly.
Oh, man, what a guy, man, from Powhatan, Virginia, all the way to Tampa. You know, that's I mean, it's like he followed my blueprint from Parkley Apartments to St. Pete. You know what I mean? What a guy. And, you know, I was lucky to hop on that. You let me hop on there, and that's what this is all about. It's all about networking and everything. You know, I had no idea that that's who he was, and now he's going to be one of my best friends here. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be one of my best friends. I'm so excited. Who wouldn't want to be best friends with dudes 6'7", 300? You know what I mean?
Man,
I got a new bodyguard. I got him and AD Palmore.
Ain't nobody gonna want to mess with you.
Who wants to with Totem Pole Nation?
Gary Criswell came on, talked about the 804 in the NFL. We went through every 804 player, the Richmond area, that's ever made it to pro football. Then we had Ray Dayton, O-line, and the offensive coordinator for Lackawanna Junior College in Pennsylvania. We did the live stream, St. Pete Rejuvenate. Then we had Steve Canner. You see there, that's him with Jocko. Jocko Willink.
What a guy.
You see, he's got a great setup. Look at that setup. Look at me. I'm the low man on the totem pole. We had Kevin Saunders. Look at me going through my books.
Yeah.
Talking about the wing tee, why you should run the wing tee, how you should run the wing tee. Then you had Coach Mountjoy. As you see, I got the little graphic there, Coach Mountjoy. He's 85 years old. He doesn't have a cell phone. He has a desktop computer, but doesn't have, you know, a camera. Then this guy right here is full of energy. Chris Metzger, the head coach at Montgomery Central in North Carolina. Talk a little bit about Gary Michael Capetta.
Oh, man, we are in for a huge, huge treat. We got that locked in towards the end of the month right there. You see, he's known as the world's most dangerous ring announcer, and I could not be more proud to get him on. His career is just unbelievable. He's got some books out we're going to talk about. He's just got a lot going on, man. He's actually, if you YouTube Action Bronson, the wrestler, the rapper, Action Bronson, he's got a song called Barry Horowitz. Mm-hmm. And you get to hear the legend Gary Michael Capetta introduced and start that song off, man. He's just got the voice. He's an amazing legend. He knows everybody in the business. And in my opinion, like I grew up, you know, loving some Howard Finkel, but Gary Michael Capetta, he's always been my guy from AWA, NWA, WCW. He's worldwide, ECW. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And is there any way you can pull up that Barry Horowitz song so you could hear that intro, so we could hear the amazing voice that he has?
Yeah.
The song is called Barry Horowitz by Action Bronson. And you'll hear it in like the first 15, 16 seconds. But yeah, he's just been one of my idols, man. That voice that he's got, you know, I'm going to see if he can't, you know, say Totem Pole Nation.
I heard Lidl prices their
or
big
even
game snacks and Valentine's flowers because they know that love and football are both a game. And Lidl's won them over with deals that can't lose.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the sound.
Yeah, it'd probably just
Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to another action-packed card of All-Star Wrestling promoted by Phil Zacco. These matches are...
That's the man. That's the man. You heard that?
Did you hear? I didn't hear it.
I heard it.
Oh, you could actually hear him talking?
Yeah. I
couldn't hear it.
Oh, man. He's just got that golden voice, man. Like Gordon Soley, man, to me, he was one of the best. You know, he was just like a encyclopedia of knowledge, and that's what you're going to get, you know, as far as ring announcers. And you know, we'll see if we can't work a deal on him, you know, maybe as we come on to do some kind of announcement, because he's the guy, man. You want his voice, and he is a living legend. He's 70 years old. He's here in the state of Florida. So I'm hoping we do this, and maybe we can meet up sometime and meet in person, man. He seems like an amazing guy, and you know, his stories, I want them to just be everlasting. We'll get into his books and all that good stuff. You know, the guy's obviously traveled the whole world, and you know, he's the guy I want as a mentor, you know.
Yeah,
so,
we have
super excited about that.
Chris Kosh, offensive coordinator for Central Michigan, will be coming on today.
Good.
Just got Mike Diamato, Confessions of a High School Football Coach. He's going to be coming on. Let me see here. Who else we got coming on? Oh, this one, Joe Ossavet. I don't know if you know him. He's the head coach at Heritage High School in Tennessee. He was actually a junior college coach that was an assistant coach at the University of Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to be coming on.
Good old Rocky Top.
Yes, that was big time, man. And will we have A.D. Palmore?
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can't get the cyborg on, man. I mean, I just love chopping it up with him. You know, just a man's man. You know, the American cyborg, man. He's one of one. You know what I mean? To come from here and, you know, live in about the worst possible environment in the world, and then you know, he's got ties with MVS. You know, congratulations to Marquez Valdez-Scantling for, you know, getting that Super Bowl ring. And also that just adds, Lakewood now has back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Coach Corey Moore won one last year. You know, he's a scout for the Los Angeles Rams. And now
Corey
you got
Moore is the guy you work for?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, not only is he an awesome head coach of a powerhouse football team like the Lakewood Spartans, but he's also an NFL scout for the Los Angeles Rams. Talk about a resume, huh?
So he coaches high school ball and he scouts?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
All right, so Terry Bradshaw. Did you see Terry Bradshaw on the podium?
For the post show?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
And he makes a comment to Andy Reid to waddle on over there. You're like, this is the biggest stage in the world, and you know, this is one of the highlights of his life. This is his second Super Bowl. But like, come on, man. Like, yeah. It's time for Terry to go. I'm sorry. There needs to be a Cannonball Run 25. He needs to be in that. Make that into a short. The guy from Duck Dynasty was a better quarterback than you. Dude won 4 Super Bowls, and his name even never comes up with the GOATs. I wonder why. Tyreek Hill. You know, everybody said, oh, man, Chiefs ain't going to be no good. And I wish we would have had this podcast then, because I told everybody, if you're a betting man, you better go bet on the Chiefs right now, because they're getting ready to win it all. Because they got picks, they got people, and they got rid of him for a reason when they could get something for him. If they would have waited a year, they would not have won a championship this year. And they would have got stuck with nothing, because he would have signed with Miami anyway. So, you know, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And how about this? Second half, the Kansas City Chiefs offense is a ode or a celebration to the history of football. I mean, the first play they come out and run is counter trey from under the center, pulling the backside guard and tight end. They ran that over and over and over last night, whether it was an H wrapping or a wide receiver wrapping. And then they line up in under the center split backs and run the Packers sweep.
Oof,
I mean, Vince Lombardi is in heaven, and he is smiling down at Andy Reid. I mean, that was the excellence of execution. We talked about Kurt Hennig last week.
Yeah.
The excellence of execution was who? It wasn't Kurt Hennig. It was
right. That was Bret the Hitman.
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yep.
Well, they were the excellence of execution and Mr. Perfect in the second half. Their offense was on fire. And to motion a Z off of the ball, and as soon as he gets to the stack of the dude on the ball, they snap it, and he whips back out on a flat route. And the Eagles had no clue. They were playing man-to-man. They were switching off. And, I mean, dude, man.
Coach, let me ask you this real quick. The blueprint that Eric Bieniemy put out there, was that one of the best offensive philosophies you've ever seen in a Super Bowl? I mean, they ran for 6 yards a clip. I don't even think Mahomes hit for 200 yards, but for you, what you saw, the dynamics of what they did, tell me about that all. Tell me about the play calling you thought.
It's just not – Andy Reid is calling the plays. Andy Reid's got the card. But, in pro football or that level, there's – the plays are called before. They're on the card, So, Rich Nagy, who was the head coach of the Bears, an assistant there, and Eric Bieniemy, and, Coach Andy Reid. I mean, those guys they're offensive geniuses. And if you just want to study offensive football, just study those two teams right there. Like today, we're going to watch probably the second half of the Super Bowl with our team and just coach off of that. That is the biggest game in the world. There is no bigger football game in this universe compared to that. And what about Rihanna? Rihanna's performance at halftime made me proud to be in America, even though she's from Barbados. I mean, that was special. And then, she's pregnant, and she's, got so many hits. There were some songs they didn't even play. Her first song, her first hit, and then Disturbia, which I can totally relate to. Disturbia. All right? That was a joke. You didn't laugh, but that was awesome. I was just watching that thinking like, dude, she is like 200 feet in the air. And like someone it looked like a Super Mario Brothers scene.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. If that doesn't show that we live in the greatest country in the world, I'm sorry, I watched the World Cup. The World Cup ain't got nothing on that. The World Cup just has a bunch of people. All right. Some got their shirts off. They're everywhere. But that was impressive. Somebody even put that it's American propaganda. And good. Because we are the best. We are the U.S. It's us versus everybody. And if you don't like it, that's why I embrace the name American football. I used to not. I used to say, oh, it's just football. No, it's American football. That is the name of it. And we're proud of that because we're pretty much the only country in the world that plays it. And, man, I'm disappointed that the Eagles didn't win because I wanted Ant Harris, our player from Bird, to get a ring. I wanted Kevon Wallace to get a ring. From Highland Springs, but Chiefs were the best team all year. And let me ask you something. This is supposed to be life lessons, but maybe this is the life lesson. At the end of the football game, what in the world was that? The ball was only thrown 40 yards. Like, How much drop back game do the Eagles really do? I mean, it's pretty much just quick game. You know, stick it in there and chuck it to Deontay Smith or, you know, A.J. Brown on a crossing route. You know, there's a guy who claims that Jason Brown says that Patrick Mahomes is overrated. Well, he's 27 and got 2 Super Bowls. So call that overrated if you want to. But the best team won. And how many turnovers did the Eagles have that led to touchdowns for the Chiefs, Coach?
Yeah, well, the Nick Bolton, man, he made that amazing play when the ball kind of popped out there. They had another one that ended up getting called back. So, turnovers were definitely a big deal. And the special teams play, man, the big return by Tony. You know, he was the guy they picked up pretty much for nothing that the Giants didn't really want. Or he didn't want the Giants is the way it seemed. It seemed like he, had the injury bug all season. And then all of a sudden he gets traded for, a couple flat footballs and a 9th round draft pick, and they only draft for 7 rounds, and then he goes over to Kansas City, and all of a sudden, man, the guy's healthy as a horse, and he's in this Super Bowl, and I believe he had the longest punt return in a Super Bowl is what was said. So
did you see? Man. I'm a high school coach from Richmond, Virginia, and we're gonna watch the second half of the Super Bowl on YouTube today with our guys. We did it last year, and the kids loved it. I mean, we talked through everything. What formation are they in? What do we call that? What's the motion? All right. What run is it? I should probably be saying this what we do, but hey, what play is that? It's inside zone. That's counter. Okay, that's play action. What do we call that? We and then we look at the defense. What are they in? They're in a 4-man. They're in a 3-man. They're in a 5-man. Okay, what did they end up doing post-snap? Well, they brought 4. It's just a good way to get kids interested in watching football from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
I probably should tape that. I started taping stuff and putting it out there last year, and there was one coach at another school that said he was outraged and how I talked to those kids. He could not believe. But that's coaching. Like you said, passion is sometimes confused with aggression. I want to go through some of these tweets that I tweeted out last night. Biggest game on earth. Why can't a PI or defensive holding be reviewed? Is holding too subjective to even review? Thoughts?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, if you can review a fumble, why wouldn't a pass interference be just as important as a fumble when the game is obviously on the line and decided by it?
Yeah, it was definitely decided. And I think not Angry Redskin fan, but the crazy referee was quoted last night as saying that was the best officiated game he's ever seen. Okay. Yeah. Vince Lombardi's in heaven smiling down the Packers suite from Splitbacks. Oh, here's one, Kyle. The movie Air about Michael Jordan signing with Nike. Now, that is a movie I want to watch. Not only does it have Ben Affleck and what's his name? The other guy.
Matt Damon.
All right, so there's 2 sports guys from Boston. How do they say it? Boston Coffee. I want to see that movie.
Where car keys and khakis sound very alike. You know what I mean? Car keys and khakis sounds very similar. Hey, what are you doing? Get the Dolphins. Go get them.
What a life.
What a life. See that? I stick her on Dolphins around here, man. That's how good of a dog she is.
Now that would go viral, man. If you could get a dog taking a dolphin out of the water. Wow. If you like offense, that Chiefs possession was impressive. Like a history of football and a drive. Okay. Yeah. Under the center, counter tray, and wing T counter to offset fullback this series. Old school, impressive. Wow, amazing, Rihanna. Is there anything that even compares to the Super Bowl? Proud of American football. Here's one. Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford.
Goat.
I mean, come on, man. Harrison Ford is the GOAT. I mean, he looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Han Solo. That's a movie I want to watch. You know, maybe they're just showing movies that we want to watch. Why? Because we're football guys.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, Kyle, when they were talking about Tua going in the game for Jalen Hurts, I think that was Tua. I'm not sure. You couldn't really tell. But was that a fake Nick Saban? Standing there. Do you remember there was an old guy wearing an Alabama jacket? And that was not Nick Saban. It was a fake Nick Saban. They had a fake Nick Saban. I hope someone comes out with this, or one of these sports geniuses on TV could talk about this. Right. Pat Tillman. Talk a little bit about Pat Tillman. What did you think about him?
I thought they started off, you know, really grabbing the American spirit and the American heart there, man. I mean,
American propaganda is what one Canadian called it.
Man, that was one of the greatest starts I've ever seen. You know, that guy is a true American hero. And, you know, if you don't know the story, that's what books are written about. That's what heroes are written about. You know, as a pawpaw, that's who you want your granddaughter finding to marry later on in life. That's who you want your daughter to find and marry. You know, the guy was just an amazing football player and an amazing military service, and just everything about it is just the American spirit. And I think after that, you know, you saw Mr. Stapleton sing the national anthem, and you saw a lot of emotion from the fans, from the players. You know, that's the emotion that I believe it should be when you hear that song, the passion that is in it, because all of us that are here have had a family member or a few family members that have served the greatest country in the world. And, you know, it was a very special moment. And that was one of the brightest starts to a Super Bowl that I could ever remember. You know, it just, they showed you the date and everything, and then went into the story. It was great. And, you know, one of the things I always say, you know, no matter what, is that, you know, legends never die, you know, and sometimes it has to be guys like me and you that have to, you know, tell these stories to keep these memories going and to make them everlasting, and to pass them down to our kids and our grandkids, and, you know, kids we coach and kids we have influence with. So, yeah, that's what I thought about it. I thought it was amazing. And, yeah, that guy's nothing but a hero. And, yeah, that was definitely one of the shining moments on you know, another amazing Super Bowl that could have been one of the greatest of all times had that last call not been made. Is what I believe.
All right, Super Bowl commercials. I don't particularly remember any other than Indiana Jones, Air, and then probably the Dunkin' Donuts with Ben Affleck and J-Lo. That's the only commercial that resonated with me. I feel like we have like a legitimate podcast now that we're actually just talking about stuff. But I mean, when you're the day after the Super Bowl, that's pretty easy. Right. What was your impressions or feelings about the Super Bowl commercials this year?
Yeah, I mean, they were entertaining. You know, I mean, they pay so much money. What is the money up to now to get a 30 seconds? You know, you pay so much. I did see what's the one gentleman's name that does a lot of stuff with Dwayne Johnson? I saw him in one.
Kevin Hart,
man. You can put that guy anywhere I'm going to watch. He's amazing, you know. And we even got, the great WWE legend, The Undertaker.
Which one was he in?
He showed up for a commercial, so that was a great one as well.
What commercial was he in?
Might have been. I don't want to say wrong. I don't want to say
I don't
wrong,
know.
But
I don't remember it. I was probably looking at my phone.
Yeah, he did show up for one. So that was that, I don't remember a whole lot of the content, the stuff the products and stuff like that. But, I did catch a lot of the same ones that you did. But yeah, seeing The Undertaker, that definitely made me not want to take my eyes off of the TV. But yeah, as soon as they're kind of done and they start going into what it's about, I kind of usually, start talking with somebody else or looking at it. We had a good party.
Tell me about the St. Pete Super Bowl party. You are known for your parties. What exactly occurred yesterday in your household?
Well, we did not have one at our house. We actually went to one of my wife's co-workers, the amazing Wendy, who you saw her. She was the one that was doing the facial. Remember we took you in the dark room?
She came and talked to me on the
and she was the one that had the awesome glasses. We went to her house. We went to her place. She's got a condo right there in Treasure Island. Beautiful on the top floor there, the penthouse.
Treasure Island. Is there actually treasure on Treasure Island?
There was buried treasure there, and there's probably still some there.
Why does it get the name Treasure Island? I think that is a question that needs to be on the next Totem Pole trivia.
Yeah, maybe we need to get some affiliates with some that have pirate blood in them and get them on here. And
I'm pretty sure you have some pirate blood in you.
Are you ready?
I mean, I'm looking at you and looking at that backdrop. I'm thinking about I'm in a Jimmy Buffett type of mood today. All right. I think it's time to listen to some Buffett. And I think he's a pirate. He's a sailor. And he's somewhere down there in Florida. He's like Jimmy Johnson. I mean, Jimmy Johnson is the Jimmy Buffett of coaching. And he really steps up his game on Super Bowl night. Jimmy Johnson is an underrated coach. All right. He won championships in college, the Miami Hurricanes, the U. Then he went to the Cowboys, took over for the GOAT, God's Coach, which was written by Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless made a living off of the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Coach, what about this? LeBron James getting booed at the Super Bowl. Can the GOAT get booed? If you're the GOAT, can you get booed? But is it that, some people don't like him and some people don't like Brady? And we'll talk a little bit about Brady and his underwear picks here soon. But LeBron James getting booed. What is that all about?
I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. I'm really not surprised. You're just playing in a game today. It's just a whole different ball game, man. These guys are made out of butter, load management. What is load management? These guys, dude.
What is what?
Load management.
I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
I guess it means you take a break every 3 or 4 games. You just sit on.
Well, that's why he can play until he's 40.
Yeah. So, we're going to have to find it, but I saw a clip the other day of a guy playing in the 80s, and I believe he played for the Seattle Supersonics. Dude was out there playing with a freaking neck brace on.
Ooh.
He had a neck brace on playing basketball. Like, how can you play with a neck brace?
Well, Kyle, when we grew up, I mean, the way that
made of butter.
The way we were wired, if you were hurt, you were soft. I mean, you didn't get hurt. You didn't get injured. I mean, I think it's kind of that mentality of being raised by people who were raised by the greatest generation that won World War II. I mean, these guys won World War II. And I had a guy in my class, an older black gentleman, who was talking about his dad fighting in World War II and his father-in-law fighting in World War II. Then he went back and got more at Vietnam. That's hardcore. So when you're raised by people who went through that, and that family, those people, the greatest generation of all time was raised by people that went through the Great Depression. I guess they went through both. My grandpa was born during the Great Depression and then fought in World War II. I mean, you don't sit back and say, my ankle hurts today, or man, you know what? We could do a show and we don't even have to have like topics. We can just go. You know what I mean? Like these guys that I watch all the time, they have, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. All right. I mean, this is the greatest invention of all time. Did you know Steve Jobs got laughed at when he brought out the first iPhone? Did you know that?
Wow. Hey, man, some people consider people, there's a thin line. There's a thin line between crazy and brilliant.
Okay, the Flash movie. Michael Keaton is coming back to be Batman in the Flash movie. I don't think he's actually going to be Bruce Wayne, but he's going to be Batman. Did you know that?
I did not know that, man. That's pretty. And
I don't know if Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are going to be in the same movie, kind of like Spider-Man had 3 different Spider-Men. Did you know that?
Right, yep.
Because they've came up with these alternate dimensions, these characters live in. Rihanna, the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. We talked a little bit about Jalen Hurts' arm. And, they had the ball on the negative 30-yard line. But there was really at the end of that Super Bowl, man, there was really some smart football being played. The kid not scoring a touchdown.
Saved the game.
Sliding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, I want to know, did someone tell him that don't score? Because Bill Belichick, he has the defense. Let them score defense. Mm-hmm. I mean, you let them score, they still got timeouts left. And I told Nina, they're going to take a knee. And she's like, how? I was like, because they're going to take a knee and they're going to kick a field goal and win the Super Bowl. Yep. And then when I said they're going to kick it on the ground because it takes time off the clock. You don't get you can't set up a good return. But the kid sliding even on that was smart.
Yeah.
To stop the clock. Maybe he should have, but he was trying to get closer. But I mean, that was smart football. And
let me ask you this, Coach.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I always think this. Okay, maybe this is just my weird thought process, but when you got that huge play, you got to get all those yards, right? You got to go 70 yards.
Yeah.
My thought process was, why don't you do like a good screenplay?
Yeah.
That way you got some linemen down the field. You got linemen running down the field, and you got a guy that gets the ball behind those guys.
That's what a lot of people do. Is if you was watching Kansas City's defense on that last play, they really were not playing very soft. They had a free safety in the middle field. He might have been 20 yards deep. But everybody else was like lining up in their base alignment other than like they had 3 down linemen and the backers were back, but there wasn't anybody at 50 yards back. And I mean, dude, the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, lost against the Miami Dolphins on some bull crap where, Gronkowski was on defense and throw it short and then make it into a punt return.
Coach, this is what my crazy mindset would do. Every day in practice, but at the end of practice, I'm lining up and I'm having maybe my most athletic guy that can snap. and I'm having all linebackers on the line. I got my linebackers as all my offensive linemen.
Oh, I get you. I see what you're saying, man.
That way we're sending some speed to go get these guys.
Line up. See, but I don't know with the numbers and everything, but yeah, put all eligibles out there. Put out like I don't know if it'd be against the rules because I mean a lot. What's his name? The running back. I call him Ewok. The running back, Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh yeah,
Ezekiel Elliott was playing center and got smashed, and he was not eligible. So, like, yeah, I totally agree, dude. On the keep it going play, you know, where you're playing backyard football, you know, like the national
guys out there. Send those guys out there.
The fastest dudes out there, dude. And we're gonna
secondary.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, and I think that would be a new play that, man, you know, like.
Well, let's don't talk too much about that, okay? Because there's a lot of people watching. But I agree. But did you watch the Eagles? You know, there used to be a rule. You know, Reggie Bush should have gotten called for it when Southern Cal played Notre Dame, when Charlie Weiss was the head coach of Notre Dame, and Pete Carroll was the coach of South Carolina. Aiding the runner. Did you see the Eagles and how – come on in here. The Eagles and how they are able to run a quarterback sneak. We got the other Coach Bald here.
What's up, Coach?
Coach Neal. Coach Neal had a big weekend, man. Had a lot of fun. You know, celebrated the Super Bowl. He's a big fan of the Super Bowl. His grandpa, you probably know his grandpa, Kyle. Kyle was pretty much raised by Mike Harefield. He's one of the redheaded guys from Salem. It was Bodie and Mike Harefield.
Yep, those are my guys.
Yeah. His grandpa's Coach Neal from Chester. He coached Boogie Henderson. Yeah.
I'm sure I know him.
Hold on one second, Kyle.
Yeah.
I just had to check with my guy, make sure he was okay, Coach Bald. How much longer you want to go, man? It's 8:12 right now.
It's up to you, man.
Yeah, I was just talking about the Eagles and the quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
Now that you can aid the runner, they have revolutionized the quarterback sneak. They're pretty much in the take a knee formation, the victory formation. And, you know, over the last couple of years, I've converted to being a shotgun-only team. But not now.
Right.
Because of the quarterback sneak and the ability to be able to run the football. Everybody line up on the line of scrimmage. The running back get 10 yards deep and get the fullback and whoever else is strong to line up in the A-gaps and push that quarterback.
Man, without a doubt, you know, I think you talk to a awesome coach like Coach Tatum, and he'd probably tell you, man, when you get the big, your offensive lineman, you get them bigs in that 4-point stance. You know what I mean? And it's
bent elbows,
big on big, bent elbows. Oh yeah, bent elbows, big on big, and we're gonna hit. We're gonna bench press. See who can bench press the most. You know what I mean? I think that's a way you can just not only win a football game, but take a man's soul. There's no better feeling than taking a man from point A to point B against his will, and then putting him in the dirt, and then looking on top of him and saying, "Look at me. I'm the man that did this to you. Remember me always."
I got some homework for everybody out there watching this. When Jalen Hurts goes under the center, Jalen Hurts is a right-handed quarterback. I don't know, but I could have swore on the last quarterback sneak that his left hand was on top. And me as a right-handed guy, putting my left hand on top is more comfortable than my right hand. He does not take snaps under the center very often. And there you go. Here you go. There's your guy, Coach Tatum.
There it is, man.
Get those guys, put the foot and dive low and run the wedge. Coach, they've revolutionized the quarterback sneak. All right. Now that you can aid the runner, I mean, it might be the first play we put in. We might put it in today.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we're doing here on Totem Pole.
Yeah,
baby.
Hey, Coach Tatum, let me ask you something, man. You want to coach your guys and you want to get their attention. All right. Here's a suggestion, and I did it last year, and I'm going to do it again today. You like to run counter. You're a counter guy. Well, the second half of the Super Bowl was an ode to the history of football. Joe Gibbs and Joe Bugle are somewhere happy because they ran counter tray the first play. All right. Then they ran a wing counter or a fullback offset counter. They ran counter with the receiver lined up at an H wrapping through. They ran the Packers sweep, which I heard someone call the Buck sweep, but it wasn't Buck sweep. It was the Packers sweep, split backs. Coach Tatum, get that second half on YouTube and show that to your offensive line. You want to talk about getting kids' attention? Hey, man, what play is this? Oh, that's counter. Oh, which counter is that? I think you call it counter Y, Coach. That's the Y wrapping through. That gets kids' attention. Okay, what are they giving us here? That's a 5-man because they do get some. I don't know how much 5-man they ran, but last year it was all 4 and 5-man in the Super Bowl for both teams. You know, that's a 3-man. That's a 4-man. That's a 5. ID it however you ID it. And tell those kids there is no bigger game in this universe that we are aware of in this dimension that we are living in right now. All right. Did I see a crisscross double handoff? I saw see crisscross to me? I'm a true wing T guy. Are you referring to when Mahomes got the ball and ran to the right and handed the ball underneath on a counter? Yes, I saw it. I didn't see actually where the ball was given to a running back and then it was hand to hand to a guy coming underneath. But I mean, the second half of the Chiefs is probably the best offensive football that you could study. And if your team can ID what they're doing in the biggest game in the world, then they should be able to ID and tell you what that other team's doing on Friday nights. All right. And if you look at it, it's not that hard, man. I mean, those guys in the league, they only run, a few runs, but they ran counter. Man, they ran counter. And anybody that says Patrick Mahomes is overrated is crazy.
He had some huge runs in that game too, man. Huge plays. Both quarterbacks ran amazingly.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is limited in his arm strength.
But, man, those offensive line, both of them, I mean, you couldn't be mad at either one after last night. I mean,
Nick Sirianni
played their hearts out.
Nick Sirianni played at Mount Union. I believe I saw Nick Sirianni play. I remember a receiver that looked like him when I went to the Stag Bowl in Salem, Virginia. Pierre Garçon was the receiver that really stood out. I said, who Indy. Is he? And how in the world did he end up at
there?
Mount Union? He's from Florida. Yeah. He's from Florida. I don't think he's from Miami. He's from I think he's from the West Coast. I'm not sure. You have to Google it. But you look out there on that field and you see a receiver that looks like Pierre Garçon, okay, yeah. Anybody that complains about, I'm not getting D1 looks, well, look at Pierre Garçon. But the emotion that I thought the running back handed it to the wing. I'll try to find it today. Coach Tatum, I got some homework for you. I want to find out, because I'm going to watch it today, Jalen Hurts, when he went under the center to run those quarterback sneaks, was his left hand on top? Because I could have swore his left hand was on top, even though he's a right-handed quarterback. I've had left-handed quarterbacks that they put their right hand on top. There's a boat behind you. Nick Sirianni and the emotion that he displayed before the game. I saw that Robert Griffin III tweeted, "What makes you cry like this?" I don't know if he meant it like that, but, Robert Griffin III played at Baylor. I mean, he could have been an Olympian. He could have been an Olympic hurdler. But to be Nick Sirianni and come from Mount Union and Larry Karras, a very underrated football coach in the history of the game, to go from Mountain Union being a player and a coach to coaching in the biggest game in the world, and that national anthem is playing. You know, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I mean, that's gratefulness, man. That's gratefulness, that's emotion, that's love. That guy has worked his entire life to get on that stage, you know. And I told my son, I'm going to put this out there, man. I told him, I said, dude, you'll be coaching in that game one day. Imagine that, Kyle. Imagine having your dad tell you that. Wow. That you will be coaching in that game one day. Like Jimmy Rogers told me. He said, Troy, you'll be a head coach. He said, you're going to be the head coach at Meadowbrook. You're going to be the head coach at LC Bird. You're going to win a state championship. And he told me other things that's going to happen. And they all have happened.
Heck yeah, man. He believed. Absolutely, man. He probably believed in you and you didn't fully believe in yourself, man. That's what a good coach does, man. He can kind of see a better version of yourself than you can see sometimes, you know, and he helps you believe that, and he helps you, guides you to that. And he's not going to tell you step for step, but he's going to show you the path. He's going to usually introduce you to the door. You know, sometimes it's just up to you to, you know, open that door. And if, you know, that's the thing with opportunity, man. Sometimes opportunity doesn't knock. And if opportunity doesn't knock, you know what you do? You build a door. You build a door.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to the last lecture by Randy Posh? I recommend listening to the short version on Oprah. He came on Oprah. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon, and he had been a professor at UVA, and they said that Sirianni used to listen to Whitney Houston sing the anthem, and he's imagined it while standing on the sideline of the Super Bowl. So the emotion was all those times he imagined. Yeah. I mean,
that was 1990 Super Bowl. That was in Tampa. That was the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants. So when Whitney Houston sang arguably the greatest national anthem.
But did you know that people were upset that she changed? I don't know what it is. I'm not a music guy, but the national anthem's supposed to go something like this. She made it. It's like something she changed outraged people, but she was like, nah, I'm going to do it my way. And it turned out to be, some people are game changers. And I teach about Whitney Houston in my class. And I show them how will I know. I show them I want to dance with somebody. Those songs were not written by her, but they were performed by her. And Whitney Houston, I mean, Coach Tatum, you're young. But there was no YouTube. That recording went platinum. You could go to Sam Goody or the CD store, whatever it was called, Peaches, and you could buy a CD of Whitney Houston singing the national anthem. And it went platinum. And she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. All right, here's a question for y'all out there, Coach Tatum. If you had to pick, who's more talented? I'm not even going to put Whitney Houston in this because we know that she's ultra talented. Who is more talented of a singer? Is it Beyonce or is it Rihanna? Who you got, Coach?
Man. Oh, I'm going to have to go with Beyonce, man. Like you said, man.
You're going to go with Beyonce? I'm a big Beyonce fan, man.
I think so, man. I mean, you know, you talk game changers and, you know, she's just got her hits are everlasting, man. They're going to be.
Dude, Rihanna's hits were very everlasting too. I mean, they didn't even get through them all.
True. I think maybe what'll validate that pick is that, not only that, but, being in a power couple with Jay-Z, that I think that's what kind of gives her the edge, in my opinion, because.
But who does she have? ASAP? ASAP Rocky?
Is that who it is?
I believe it is. I'm not a big fan of ASAP. I love Jay-Z.
Yeah.
All right. I love Beyonce, but I'm taking Rihanna as a singer.
Okay.
I'm just taking her as a singer. Some people wanted to know why she didn't change outfits and why she didn't dance and all. I guess it was because she's pregnant. She looked great, and you wouldn't even have been able to tell if she wouldn't have had her jacket open. She was in great shape, and she did a great job, man. I was proud to be an American, Coach Tatum. After that, even though she's from Barbados. But what's the common denominator between Beyonce and Rihanna? And that's the Rain Man. Just like Mad Skills said, he had a tennis ball, and he was hitting it off the ground against the floor, against the floor, and he's mumbling. And then what does he do? He said, "Is Timbaland coming back?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Put the beat on." And he did lobster and scrimp right there. In 15 minutes, one take. And that's why he said he's the GOAT. I'm going Beyonce, but I'm a bigger fan of Rihanna. Wow. I'd say I'm going Rihanna, but I'm a bigger fan of Beyonce. All right. Everybody knows I'm a huge Beyonce fan. All right. Huge. I'm also a huge Nia Long fan. That's why I think the Celtics are idiots. I loved her HT show because it was straightforward concert. Not much extra stuff. I enjoyed it. And which one's halftime show? Rihanna's? I liked Rihanna's better because, Nina, my girlfriend, said that she was a little disappointed because, I don't even never heard a song that The Weeknd performed, but I liked his halftime show. But I love the Rihanna.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for that weekend.
For which one?
I was in the stands. Yeah.
For which one?
That was the Super Bowl in Tampa, brother.
The Weeknd?
Yeah.
So the last time it was Eminem and
they did.
And Dre.
They went old school. Yeah, they went old school with
yeah. Do you know who's behind all that?
Who's that?
Jay-Z. Sean Carter. He's the one that puts it together. He's the one that determines who it is. He's made a deal again. I heard he just sold his company, the cognac company.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man, big shout out to Bad Skills, man. The GOAT of Richmond. Greatest of all time there. Richmond, VA, baby. He
talks about listen to the drink champs. I can't show it here.
I did a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I can't. Yeah, I'm just telling everybody.
Oh, listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. Him and Nori. Whew.
Rihanna's. I hated Beyonce's halftime because I'm a Ravens fan, and she caused the power to cut out. Well, do you really know that, Coach Tatum? Because it's not labeled as a sport for a reason. Okay. And in the WWE, I used to wonder as a kid, well, if it's fake, then why in the world would the guy agree to lose? Well, because what's he going to do? Complain and leave? Where's he going to leave to? Where's he going to get paid? I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, dude, but you can't blame the referees. I'm sorry. When you turn the ball over, the team that makes less mistakes wins. And the Kansas City Chiefs made less mistakes. And that punt return, you want to show your team how not to cover a punt? Dude, their whole entire punt team was within 10 yards of each other. They were all in front of that dude. And he stuck them to the left, went back right, and they had a wall. The Ravens. Which one was that? Was that Ravens versus the 49ers?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, dude, the fix was in on that. I mean, Coach Tatum, I have some more homework for you. And I've asked numerous NFL people this. I should ask Chris. And I'll ask somebody that was on that 49er staff eventually. And you might be able to find out in NFL films. When Colin Kaepernick, who I've always been a fan of Cap, when he was a college quarterback, and that, he was the inventor of the pistol. They did that because of him. And he's not a great passer.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'd say him and Jalen, their arms are not very strong. But yeah, he was a game changer. When he threw the 2 balls to Crabtree, were they checks? There's no way Greg Roman called 2 fade balls from I don't even know what yard line they were on. I mean, it was close. But he threw 2 fade balls in a row to Crabtree. I want to know, was that a check? Was that a bad box deal? Like, man. So, but the Ravens won that one, didn't they? The Ravens beat the 49ers. Is that the one that
they did? Yeah, that's the one Ray Lewis retired right after, I believe, right? I
can't remember. How many has Harbaugh won? And I think Jim Harbaugh is very underrated, man. If you look at his record at Stanford and look at his record at San Diego University when he took that job, I mean, dude, people complain about people not getting head coaching jobs. Jim Harbaugh had to go to the University of San Diego, non-scholarship, to get a head coaching job. Why is he not the Colts head coach?
Who is going to be the head coach of the Colts?
Have they named one yet?
They have not. They're the only team that have.
I say it's going to be Jim Harbaugh. Why not? I don't understand why. The dude won. I mean, he's the hard guy to get along with, man. Management don't like him. He doesn't do what he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Hey, they did, but the power was out for like 30 minutes. It killed our momentum after Jacoby Jones took the opening kickoff to the house after halftime. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you never know. Like I was saying, man. I mean, what are they going to – if you don't agree with the outcome of the game or the officiating, what are you going to do? Quit? Like, it's like pro wrestling. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you're going to be like one of those guys that are crazy saying that the NFL is rigged. And, I mean, Larry Johnson Jr. and Arian Foster get upset with the NFL. I mean, everybody knows what it stands for, not for long. Tom Brady and his underwear picks, Coach. What do you think about that? I mean, are they photoshopped? Like, dude, you're 45. You're not supposed to look like you're 25. Like, it's okay to have some gray hair. It's okay not to look like a skeleton.
Yeah, I agree, man. I didn't see those pics, but, I try to work out every day so I look like I'm in my 20s and 30s. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but your beard gives it away.
It's always beach season down here.
Yeah, but your beard gives it away. Tom Brady's got
seasoned right there. That's a seasoned right there.
Show you
seasoned
picture,
vet.
I was very.
I didn't get to see this. So yeah, man. Maybe he's rocking the skinny dad bod. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see this. I gotta find it. Hold on. What am I doing? We have a computer right in front of me. I can just look this up. Here we go. I want to show something to everybody, and I want y'all to see this. And this probably be what we end with. Coach Tatum, I've been fat and I've been skinny, and I'll be both things again. Okay. I look a lot better in the studio. I am a big believer.
It looks good on you, Coach.
The studio
looks good on you.
Huh?
The studio looks good on you, Coach.
Yes, it does. It makes me look a lot better. That deal at home with the computer on the bed, like, come on, this is no makeup right here.
Get the Dolphins. Go get them.
Here we go, man. Are you ready? Look at this guy.
Oh, hey, that's me. That's me.
Look at that guy.
Can I tell that story?
Yeah, tell it.
So I was working at a hotel at the time, and we had the women's Final Four at our hotel, and the University of LSU pretty much bought the whole hotel out. And one day I'm heading to the airport. I have a older couple with me. I'm heading to the airport, and there's another couple that want to go to the airport. And the older couple wanted to go to a CVS to get some medicines for that gentleman right there. And so the whole time we head over to the airport, I'm going to go to the airport, and then I'm going to kind of wait for them at the CVS because, I didn't want to just drop them off, go to the airport, and then come back and scoop them. You know what I mean? So the whole time we're sitting there, we're talking, and I'm just amazed because his wife was about the age of my grandma, and she's talking sports and everything and talking sports, and she just had so much knowledge. It was like talking to you, coach, or talking to my brother about sports. She knew everybody's name, where they went to school. And so by the time we get to the CVS, she's about to get out of the vehicle. She says, I got trivia for you. Who won the first Super Bowl? And I said, oh, that's easy. It was the Green Bay Packers. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And she was like, awesome. Have my husband show you his ring. You might be impressed. So he's sitting right behind me, and I just kind of put my hand out, and he puts the ring right in my hand. And I look at it, and on one side, it has the NFL logo. And on the other side, it has the Green Bay Packers emblem on a helmet, and it says number 31, Jim Taylor. And it looked like a class ring to me. And so I'm looking at this ring, and I look back at him, and I'm just like, my gosh, Jim Taylor? This is unbelievable, And I told him, I was like, wow, Mr. Taylor, I feel like a kid sitting in Santa Claus's lap. Do you mind if I ask you something? And he was like, sure, Kyle, go ahead. And he was like, can you tell me when you felt, like you were the most dominant in your sport? And he was like, yeah, the actual year before the Super Bowl, we played the New York Giants in what was called the championship game. And he reeled off his stats. He was like,
that was the Ice Bowl. Wasn't that the Ice Bowl?
I'm not really sure. We'll have to dig into the archives for that. But, he gave me his stats, and he reeled it off. He was like, yeah, I ran for, 78 yards on, 24 attempts or something like that. And so I'm doing I'm doing the math in my mind, and I'm like, and I told him, I was like, oh, so I was like, well, you didn't run for a whole lot of yards. That's about 3.5 yards, a carry. And he said to me, yeah, well, it took 5 or 6 of those SOBs to take me down every single play. And I was just like, wow, unbelievable. And then he said, well, Kyle, let me get you back squared away. There was a game when I was playing at LSU that I scored 6 touchdowns in, and I felt pretty good about myself then. And so I was just like, wow, unbelievable. And so how about this? At the time, I didn't have a phone or anything to take a picture with. So I told him, as I dropped him off, I was like, Mr. Taylor, I loved you. I was a kid that, instead of watching cartoons when I was a little boy, I watched NFL Tough Guys and NFL Crunch Course. I said, is there any way, maybe if I see you later on, that I could get a picture with you? It would be a dream come true. And he said, you know what, Kyle, that would be awesome. So as a matter of fact, the next day I see him, and I'm like, Mr. Taylor, do you mind if I get that picture? And he's like, Kyle, come over here. Let's get this picture. And that's the picture you see right there. And after I took that picture, I thought in my head, I was like, you know what? My buddies are such scumbags. They're going to think I just took a picture with some random older gentleman and called him Jim Taylor. I said, Mr. Taylor, do you mind, just putting your ring up?
I remember you sending me this.
I said, do you mind if you just put the ring up and I take a picture of the ring? And he said, Kyle, why don't you put the ring on yourself and take a picture? I said, man, Mr. Taylor, that's a great idea. And yeah, man, I'll never forget how amazing it was. And putting that ring on, you just felt, just unbelievable. There it is right there, man. You felt like you had the world.
I mean, that's what a ring should look
on
like.
Your palm. Yeah, that was right there. Super Bowl I ring. How rare is that ring?
Very.
And how many people have put on a Super Bowl I ring? And yeah, I'll just never forget how much that meant to me at the time. And he's passed away, but I said, his memory will be everlasting with me. I'll never forget that man. And, you know, it meant a lot to me. Also, the relationship, you know, that I have with you, you know, y'all both being Taylors, you know what I mean? It's like,
My uncle's name was Jim Taylor.
Taylor made, Taylor strong. You know what I mean? So that was just one amazing time in my life that you know, and I'm glad to be able to share it here, because you wouldn't hear this anywhere else unless, you know, you're just talking to me straight up. But now that we have this documented, hopefully it'll live for eternity. Yeah, it'll live for eternity, and people will know.
This is what Mr. Totem Pole. This is what Mr. Totem Pole posted. Why do you think he posted that, Kyle?
What's that?
The baby picture. You can't see it?
Yeah, I do see it. Yeah, I do see it.
Why do you think Mr. Totem Pole?
I don't know, but it's winking at me, and it's just like the cutest.
Because I thought you looked like a little chubby baby, man. I've never seen you this big, man. I was like, is that Kyle? Like, dude, how much did you weigh in that picture?
Probably 250, but I mean, dude, I've been up to 285 before.
Are you kidding me?
No, man.
I've got to see a picture of you at 285.
I've had some severe depression, man. I've fought through a lot of adversity. I fought through about everything you could have, man. I've had
I know, man.
I've had addiction issues before. Yeah, man. You know, it's just part of my story and everything. And yeah, man. You know, you get lost out there sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you sometimes you don't learn from your losses. You know, we're talking about learning from losses and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't learn from your loss until it's way over. You know, the loss might have happened several years ago, but you don't learn from it until today, type deal. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'll definitely send you some pictures, man. I had a big old belly. Smoking cigarettes, addicted.
I remember that. I remember when you were smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, man, living a terrible life, and you know, if you can quit things like that, man, you can do a lot of positive stuff like that too.
Yeah, man, I'm so proud of you, man. That's why when I went, Nick Sirianni crying at the Super Bowl. That's the same reason when I went to that backyard, I cried.
Yeah, man.
I know pain. I know pain, man, and I understand it.
Yeah,
and
man.
I know the pain that you went through, and then to see that, like,
Dreams
okay, so
come true,
life
man.
lessons. I think this show is growing into more. It's growing into more life lessons, you know, because what time should life lessons come on every morning?
I'm like at 7 a.m., man. I'm like at 7 a.m. I like you guys seeing, you know, the sunrise, because, you know, people need sunshine in their life. You know, people need sunshine. People need something to look forward to. People need something positive in their life. You know.
Okay, so our two sponsors.
Driven by demons sometimes. Our two sponsors are amazing.
Cultivate Wellness and St. Pete Rejuvenate.
Yeah,
Cultivate Wellness is located in Richmond, Virginia. Cultivate Wellness provides CBD products, okay, for you, for your animal, for anyone. All right, it's all natural. Go ahead.
Also, I have a cousin that works there part-time. Her name is Julia. She is amazing. She will take great care of you. She is family.
Did you tell Hutch?
I have not told Coach Hutch. Yeah.
Text him, man, because he knows all those people.
Yeah, my TT Heidi, my amazing aunt who came down here and got to visit with
small
me,
world,
with
man.
Uncle Timmy. Yeah. We all went to the Cowboys-Bucks playoff game, and they're huge Buffalo Bills fans. But yeah, she, you know, she was watching our show, and that's the thing, man. We got an amazing following with the females, you know, and I'm super proud of that. You know, ladies, you can learn a lot from us, and we definitely can learn a lot from you guys, and we definitely want to have you guys on this show as well.
Yeah, we have something planned with Coach Bald and Coach Disrespectful Energy, the amazing David Neal, and he's going to be giving advice.
Yeah, we'll definitely
to gentlemen on how to deal with their relationships with females And
right.
Happy birthday to my girlfriend Nina from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Nina, happy
Valentine's
birthday.
Day is coming up tomorrow. St. Pete Rejuvenate, our other sponsor. Tell us about St. Pete Rejuvenate. How do you get in contact with them?
Go to the website. stpeterejuvenate.com. Call us. You'll probably talk to Barbara Madursky. She's a former neurologist, probably been in the medical field close to 20 years. Her husband, one of the greatest doctors of all time, and he was the one that kind of inspired them both to collabo and make their dreams come true. So check the website. We have so many different ways of helping you, from IV hydration, to getting your facials done, to the Botox, the fillers, to ketamine infusion, which is, it's just an amazing medicine that helps with severe depression, severe anxiety, and severe pain, back pain, neck pain, and it's something that's been proven to help people get off of some of these medicines that are very addicting and that are, doing a lot of damage to your organs and everything. So yeah, please come check us out. It's Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Miss Nina, and Totem Poles Nation. Thank you guys for this opportunity. Happy Monday. We love you guys. Send us questions, and follow us on Twitter, Facebook. I'm at Coach Bald. You can follow Coach Taylor at Coach Troy Taylor. And always find us at Totem Pole Nation. And we'd love to talk to you guys. Give us a ring. And I'm going to be doing some coaching there as well, life coaching. And so I'm very, very enthusiastic about it because I love helping people. And I've come from a rough place and gone through a lot of stuff. So I think it's easy to kind of help people get in the right direction and kind of go with the right game plan when you've kind of been there and done that and been able to fight through stuff. I consider myself my number one client. A lot of the things I preach to people are stuff I know that works because it's things I do every single day.
No doubt, brother. Well, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. for life lessons. And we love y'all, man.
I can't wait till we do this again tomorrow.
Peace.